Hello guys, and I'm sure you will agree, we live in very challenging and difficult times. News from different corners of the world are quite worrisome. Tonight, Iran targeted Shahed drones and missiles on Israel, and it reminded me that 10 years ago, anti-terroristic operation had to start in Ukraine to try and stop Russian invaders who crossed our borders, occupied Crimea, and continued to Donetsk and Luhansk regions. We were advised not to escalate, and the greatest conclusion I can make is unpunished evil grows. And the more wars, conflicts are observed by democratic countries, the more it inspires authoritarian regimes to continue. So, if we want to live in a more or less peaceful world, we have to be active, persistent, and quite decisive in stopping the evil. This week, once again, was very dynamic as always during wartime. We had attacks on Ukrainian infrastructure. Very big thermal power plant near Kyiv was destroyed because we lack Patriot systems. We lack basic things to protect ourselves, not even attack our invaders. But at the same time, God works when our allies are a bit slow, and there are lots of floods all around Russia, leading to dissatisfaction among the population. We've received some bad advice, like not to target oil refineries in Russia, but we witness this strategy is working and Russia begging for support from Kazakhstan and receiving a strict no. Let me update you on most important events of this week from an ordinary Ukrainian perspective. My name is Anna, and I've vlog daily from Ukraine since the start of the brutal Russian invasion. So if you're new to the channel, you support Ukraine, please subscribe and help us fight against Russian propaganda and fake news. And my longtime friends, check your subscription status and hit notification button. 10 years ago, in 2014, the Ukrainian government had to start anti-terroristic operation. It was not the very beginning of Russian war against Ukraine, because once again we were advised by the so-called global leaders not to escalate, to wait and observe. To wait and observe what? How they loot, rape and destroy our country. And that's why it all began in February 2014, but in April 2014, the reactions started and we had something that was known as anti-terroristic operation, when exactly it was war for the liberation of temporarily occupied Ukrainian territories. There are lots of names of the cities that have become symbols of resilience, and I think that the reconstruction and normalization of our life is only possible when all of these names return back home to Ukraine, together with people, together with memories, with traumas they received, but also with future inside Ukraine. What does this experience teach us? That when you are against evil authoritarian regimes, which are typical bullies, you cannot wait and observe and negotiate and listen to the advice of people who have no experience in fighting such evil. You have to be very decisive and very strong, and that's what we do right now, even when we lack supplies, and we desperately lack these supplies. That's why I'm super grateful that Germany gave us one Patriot system. Actually, we need many more of them, because we are the only country in Europe that is so heavily shelled. So I'm sure many can borrow. It's quite difficult knowing there are hundreds around us not used, and we need them. So I hope we will get more. But while our allies are in doubt, God is working, and many Russian cities are flooded. It's normal to get floods in spring in different parts of the world, but it is also normal to get prepared, or at least to know how to save, evacuate people and their belongings. In Russia, they are very occupied getting new territories when destroying and losing their old territories. That's why people, and I have put down the list of the cities in Orsk, Orenburg, Tyumen, Kurgan, Tolyatti, are now desperate because they've lost many things and they don't get any comments from Russian government. Of course, Putin will not visit them, same as he does not visit his soldiers on the front lines. He is a bunker grandpa, as you often call him in comments. And if you're new to the channel, you support Ukraine, remember to subscribe, demonstrate your solidarity, and help us spread more information about Ukraine. This week, just as this month, when we run out of so much needed weapons that stop us from defending our territory and shooting down Russian missiles, they target more and more important infrastructure objects. And for example, this week, we've lost a very big thermal power plant near Kyiv. And this will lead to some shortages, and it goes without saying this is going to be Russian strategy for the next months to try and erase all of our electric power plants, thermal power plants. And in this context, it's extremely brutal to hear the advice of our ally, Lloyd Austin, who said not to target Russian oil refineries because that can lead to higher prices. Well, first of all, not our actions lead to that, but Russian attack on Ukraine. Second, Saudis, Houthis, and many other reasons. Plus, since the times of the Second World War, oil refineries were always legitimate targets because oil produced there is used for military machines, airplanes, tanks, and everything that they need. Plus, it is vital for Russian economy. And as we see, sanctions still did not stop them from producing more missiles that they later target on Ukraine. That's why oil refineries are totally okay. And I'm 100% convinced we should continue this strategy, and all of the Ukrainians support me in that. And tonight, there are people joking, about the Third World War starting, with more and more conflicts appearing in different corners of the world. For me personally, and for the majority of Ukrainians, this Third World War has already started, because the size of battles, the size of destructions and human losses in my country and also on the Russian side is huge. It's incomparable to other things that happened in between the world wars. Plus, we know that Russia is backed up by Iran, by China, by North Korea, making it actually a world war. They are definitely on Russian side. They supply them without any delays and any discussions, negotiations, and other stuff. So actually, it's not just like Ukraine that needs something. Russia gets lots of things already. Even being the largest country in the world, it already needs lots of resources that it gets from the so-called authoritarian allies. And tonight, when Iran targeted missiles and Shahed drones on Israel, we saw how Israeli allies, Britain, France, the United States, Jordan, stopped all of these missiles and Shahed drones on the way to Israel before crossing Israel border and territory. And it feels really bad because we also have allies. And when Russian missile crosses the border to a NATO country, Poland, and travels 39 seconds there, what our friends do? They do not shoot down this missile because they know it will return back to Ukraine and kill Ukrainians, so they don't interfere. I don't know, honestly, why we have such different approaches in these situations. Why it is okay for Israeli allies to stop Shahed drones and missiles. And I think it's very correct. If you can stop the evil, do stop the evil. But why we don't stop things that fly in the direction of Ukraine? What's the difference? Let me know your opinion in the comments below. And I know that we stand united here on the channel. That's why I'm super grateful that I have you as my distant, but at the same time, very close family. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons, and inspiring more stories about Ukraine. Thank you for your answers and advice on my book that I'm seriously working on. Remember to join me on Instagram, Threads, Twitter, Discord, and also check our merch shop with lots of good items that work well as conversation starters. But most importantly, speak to your representatives, persuade those who doubt, and united we stand. Slava Ukraini!